Good day, and welcome to another UFC betting card prediction and Draftkings pick show. As always, please hit that subscribe button to help us grow and keep providing you with up-to-date content. Today we will look at the upcoming UFC Fight Night Qatar, Tsarukyan versus Hooker. Unlike last week's awesome fight card that brought in a huge return, this weekend is a tough one because there are many fights that are really close in this upcoming card. Now that being said, I broke down this card and will provide who I believe will win. And at the end of the video, I will give you my overall thought as to what I will be doing and the level of exposure I will have in this fight card. Now, let's get started. In the main event, we are in the lightweight division between Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. This main event is tough because it's basically grappler versus striker. On one side, we have Tsarukyan, who has decent striking power and a very good takedown game, going up against a well-rounded striker with KO power and decent takedown game. If Tsarukyan is able to combine his striking with his takedowns and is able to control Hooker on the ground, then it will be a great night for Tsarukyan. On the other hand, if Hooker is able to keep the fight standing, then he can definitely outstrike Tsarukyan. I will slightly be picking Tsarukyan to take the win, but like I said, buyer beware. There are avenues for the underdog to edge out a win. On Draftkings, I will have 40% of my lineups for Tsarukyan and 20% for Hooker. In the welterweight division, in a bout that I felt should have been the main event, we have Belal Muhammad versus Ian Machado Garry. This fight should be a great one to see. We have two pressure fighters going up against each other. The two fighters are very good strikers, but Muhammad has the better takedown game and Garry has decent takedown defense. This one is close as well, but I will slightly pick Ian Machado Garry to take the win. But buyer beware, there is a pathway for Muhammad to edge out the win, so buyer beware when hedging your bets. On Draftkings, I will have 35% of my lineups equally for each fighter. Alright, so, in the light heavyweight division, we've got a bout between Volkan Oezdemir and Alonzo Menifield. In this one, it's basically two strikers really throwing down. Menifield, well, he's an okay striker with knockout power, but honestly his cardio is always in question when these fights go to deeper waters. On the other hand, Oezdemir has way more experience, he's fought better competition, and he's also a very good striker with knockout power. My pick here is going to be Volkan Oezdemir to get the win. And just so you know, on Draftkings, I'll have 30% of my lineups for Oezdemir and 10% for Menifield. Moving on. In the welterweight division, there's a fight between Hermansson and Orolbai. In this matchup, we've got Hermansson, who's a striker going up against Orolbai, a pressure fighter with a pretty solid takedown game. If Hermansson can keep this fight standing, he's definitely got a chance to win. But if it goes to the ground, the advantage really swings to Orolbai. For this bout, I'm slightly leaning toward Hermansson to take the win. But hey, buyer beware. I'm not super confident here, and I do see a real possibility for Orolbai to pull it off. On Draftkings, I'll be splitting it up evenly, with 25% of my lineups for each fighter. Now in the heavyweight division, we've got Sergey Spivac taking on Gaziev. In this one, Spivac is a pretty well-rounded fighter, while Gaziev is more of a striker. For this bout, I'll be picking Gaziev to get the win. And on Draftkings, I'll have 20% equal lineups for each of these fighters. In the flyweight division, we've got a bout between Ulanbekov and Kyoji Horiguchi. So here we have two well-rounded fighters who are going to go up against each other in what should be a pretty decent fight. My pick here is Ulanbekov to take the win. On Draftkings, I'll have about 35% of my lineups for Ulanbekov and 25% for Horiguchi. In the featherweight division, there's a bout between Bogdan Grad and Luke Riley. Honestly, this one could be one of the best fights of the night. On one hand, we've got a well-rounded striker in Grad, and on the other, a striker in Riley. For this bout, I'm leaning toward Luke Riley to edge out the win, but honestly, this fight could go the other way fast because Grad has some real upside for possibly edging out the win, so just be careful when hedging out your bets. On Draftkings, I'll have 35% of my lineups for Riley and 20% for Grad. In the welterweight division, we've got Nicholas Dalby going up against Sagid Izagakhmaev. So Dalby is a pressure fighter with great cardio, while Izagakhmaev is more of a grappler. For this fight, I'm picking Sagid Izagakhmaev to take the win. On Draftkings, I'll have 25% for Izagakhmaev and 15% for Dalby. Alright, so in the flyweight division, we've got a fight between Alex Perez and Asu Almabayev. Both of these guys are really well-rounded fighters, and honestly, this could be another great fight that might not go the distance. If they keep things standing, Perez definitely has the advantage, but if it goes to the ground, then Almabayev is the guy to watch. My pick here is Asu Almabayev to get the win. But, buyer beware. Perez absolutely has a path to victory, so just be careful if you're hedging your bets. On Draftkings, I'm going with 30% for Almabayev and 25% for Perez. Moving on, in the light heavyweight division, we've got Abdulrahman Yakhyaev versus Rafael Cerqueira. Here we're looking at two strikers facing off, and honestly, I just don't think this one will make it to the final bell. My pick is Abdulrahman Yakhyaev to take the win, and yeah, I'm also betting the under in this fight. On Draftkings, I'll have 40% of my lineups for Yakhyaev and just 10% for Cerqueira. Next up, in the bantamweight division, we've got Bekzat Almakkhan going up against Alexandre Topuria. Both of these fighters bring a lot of pressure with solid striking and a decent takedown game. This fight could honestly go either way, but my pick is going to be Alexandre Topuria to get the win. On Draftkings, I'll have 35% of my lineups for Topuria and 25% for Almakkhan. Alright, so in the middleweight division, we've got a bout between Ismail Naurdiev and Ryan Loder. Now in this fight between two pressure fighters, I'm going to be picking the better striker in Ryan Loder to take the win. And, just so you know, on Draftkings, I'll have about 35% of my lineups for Loder and around 20% for Naurdiev. Next up, in the lightweight division, it's Nurullo Aliev versus Shamrock. This is an interesting fight, with two well-rounded fighters going up against each other. If this one goes to the ground, Rock definitely has the submission advantage, but if it stays standing, or if Aliev can control Rock on the ground, then the advantage swings to him. My pick here will be Nurullo Aliev to take the win. On Draftkings, I'll have 30% of my lineups for Aliev and 20% for Rock. Now, we're at the last fight of this card, in the heavyweight division, between Marek Bujlo and Denzel Freeman. In this matchup, we've got a well-rounded fighter going up against a wrestler with knockout striking power. For this one, I'll be picking the underdog, Marek Bujlo, to take the win. And on Draftkings, I'll have 25% equal lineups for both fighters. Well, those are my picks for this fight card. Honestly, it's a pretty volatile card where a lot of these fights could go either way, so I'm going to keep my bets at a minimum. There will definitely be more fight cards with better possibilities for earning money, so be careful when making your bets. With that said, I wish you all good luck, and please let me know how you all made out in the comments. Oh, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to help us grow. May the betting gods be with us all. Take care.